Hello, and welcome to Appleton Engaged. I'm your host, Timber Smith, Special Assistant to the Mayor for Community, Culture, and Belonging.
And I'm Sarah Schneider, Mobility Manager with Valley Transit, a department of the city.
And Appleton Engaged is a podcast that explores the many people, organizations, and resources that make our community a great place to live, work, and play. So whether you're a longtime resident or just getting to know Appleton, join us as we learn more about our community together.
Well, today, Appleton Engaged listeners, we are pulling back the curtain on how this amazing organization is tackling hunger, housing, and hope throughout the Fox cities. And just the irony of the fact that they are literally in our backyard, just blocks away from City Hall and the Valley Transit Center.
I love this organization just because they make bells ring. I mean, it's just that simple. They make the bells ring, and they help so many people through bell ringing.
That's a giveaway right there.
Oh, that's what we were trying to do. We were trying to give the big hints. Well, and I can't just awesome organization. Kristal Knudtson, Director of Development and Marketing, and Mindy Howell, Housing Services Lead, both from the Salvation Army of.
Great. Thank you for having us here.
Awesome. I am glad that you have come back. This isn't your first go around here on Appleton Engaged.
No, we're excited to be back. As you had mentioned, the ringing of the bells has started. So we come every year with that tradition and excited to talk about it.
Well, before we jump in about that, can you both please tell us about yourself and your association with Appleton and the surrounding Fox Cities region?
So, Kristal Knudtson here. I have been in the Appleton area for the last 25 years. I moved up from Milwaukee area, and it's been my community, for 25 years. My daughter has been raised and out. She goes to Marquette University now, so I'm down to one kid in the house in the area who my boyfriend in the area has a couple of kids, and his son goes to Little Chute, who, if anybody's tired today, if we can talk about the state championship game, they lost, but it was a really good job and a good effort to go there. Proud of them. But yeah, so, I mentioned those things because our kids are involved. We're very involved with our kids in their school. We're very involved in the community and giving back. My boyfriend and I love to go to galas and find different ways to learn about other nonprofits, including dragging him along to be part of volunteering. It's really a great community and amazing to be a part of.
I'm Mindy Howell, and I also have been here for 25 years. I moved here because my husband is from here, and we met at UW La Crosse. Our daughter went to Appleton East and graduated 2 years ago, so she is at college also. She is at UW Milwaukee studying graphic design. It really kind of musical around here, and I just wanted to kind of give a shout out to the Appleton East School District, and she was a part of Badger State, which is Badger State Girl Choir. So that is a really, really awesome community engagement for the arts. I also just enjoy being in Appleton and having like the river walk and all the parks and taking part in that activity of Appleton because it is really a beautiful city and community.
Facts. I mean, no doubt.
Yeah, sometimes you don't know till you go to other ones, right? And not that other ones are bad. It's not my intention to say, oh, no. But you don't know what you have until you don't have it. So when you're gone, I miss it. It gives you an appreciation of the people and the place. Absolutely.
Yeah.
Oh, absolutely. Well, Kristal, Mindy, can you please tell us about your resource?
So the Salvation Army, we have been around since 1865. It filters all the way back to that, has extrapolated through the world since then. Landing here in the Fox Cities has been 108 years ago now, since 1917, and we're really excited about that. We grow every year. We have cores specifically because when you give for our programs and what our mission is here, what we'll talk about, we're really proud to say that every dollar stays local. I say that because the Salvation Army Fox Cities, there's a core, right? And it's because when people give, it stays specifically to this region, which is, it goes up to the Freedom, down to right before Oshkosh, over to by Greenville, then over to Darboy. And that's why you might hear there's a Green Bay Corps, there's an Oshkosh Corps, there's a Fox Cities Corps, right? So talking about Fox Cities here for all those who are listening, or anybody else that's listening anywhere, just know where you put your money is where it is staying, even if you're traveling. So that being said, our mission is to, without discrimination, we serve everybody, meet everyone at wherever they are at, all of their basic needs with no discrimination. They're hungry, we'll give them food, whether that's our food pantry or our noon meal program. You need a house, we work with the housing services and the county for, monetary or actually a roof over your head. You need Christmas assistance, we'll talk about that, Adopt a Family, Toys for Tots. And then, of course...
And in terms of housing, basically, we have one building that has 11 efficiency apartments in it, and that began in 1996. It is a remodeled firehouse. So there are 11 efficiency apartments in there. And then we also have community-based, we contract with landlords. So we do a couple of different grants that help provide housing assistance along with supportive services to about 40 households. And that includes our housing retention program, which is just a Salvation Army program, and it focuses on prevention, not just the unhoused.
I would love to expand a little bit on your lunch program. I personally have volunteered, and it's always so rewarding to be able to provide a meal and even just a shelter for the hour to be able to have people come indoors, especially in the very cold months. But where do you get that food from exactly? And I know that there's a lot of variety, so I'm just curious how that partnership looks.
So we get some of the food from, we do partner with Feeding America, but we rely a lot on donations, and we do need donations for both the food pantry and the noon meal. And we really always are in need of meat or protein and cereals. Those are things that are needed all year round.
Yeah, as far as donations, to echo that, being an organization that we're trying to forecast who's going to need food, right, the next year. A lot of organizations, corporate organizations can say, okay, here's what we made the last prior years. Here's what we can anticipate. We can anticipate someone's, emergency situation or something chronic that is not getting better or that has gotten better. So we do have a budget every year, but we recently did some studies and with our numbers, and typically for our food budget that we are completely out of the monetary donations by almost half the year.
Wow.
So that specifically, I talked to some organizations in town saying, hey, we are already this much negative of our pantry number and what we need. So that's when you'll see us maybe online or trying to get the word out. We are in need of, like Mindy said, and that's a big one, of the canned proteins or, just more food. We need to stock our shelves. And it's a real thing. I don't want anyone thinking, oh, well, how do you serve that many people a day? It's hard sometimes. Sometimes we don't know. We just thank God. It's through our prayers and say, hey, you got us on that one, But at the end of the day, it's a real thing. We're not over surplusing of a budget, and we get what we get, and we are so thankful every canned meal to every dropped off donation, because it goes.
And I love what you said earlier about you do not discriminate, because you absolutely do not. Anybody is welcome to a meal, and all ages as well, correct?
That's correct.
So in that 100 a day, that includes children?
Yes, and they'll come with, and our volunteers will hand the pantry, their groceries out to them, for serving the noon meal program as well. We get to know the children that come more on a daily basis. When school's out, we really get to know them. There's a lot more kids. But on this past weekend, or a couple weekends ago, I had served the lunch as well. And anybody in need, it's a heart tug. But when you see those children, I feel like a bigger pounding on the chest, and they're so thankful. I saw some beating eyes looking up at me when I gave some more milk, like, thank you, can I please? And they're very, very thankful and humble about being there.
So I know that you can do monetary donations. Now I know you can do food donations. Is what other kinds of donations? Is that it? But I feel like there's more opportunity there. And I'm just bringing this up because, our Appleton Engage listeners, they're about that life. They show up, they give. So I want to make sure they have a clear picture of all the ways that they can be helpful.
Yeah, great question. So when we think of our programs, think of, food program, housing program, and Christmas assistance. We covered the food and in-kind and monetary donations that will help with that. And then if you are out listening and you are part of an organization that can give in kind, know that's a thing. We have Uncle Mike's, we have Crumble Cookie, we have donations on a weekly basis. So know that's something that is very helpful and we put to use. Or if you're a grocery store or whatnot and you're looking. So in kind donations. And then also we have different other ways like match days, which we'll talk about for the Christmas season. So right now we have our Christmas season, which is the Red Kettles, and it started on November 12th and it goes until December 24th. We have 18 match days, and what the match day is an organization will set an amount. So for example, next Saturday, Bassett Mechanical, they said we will match $7,500 on Saturday, November 29th. If the community can raise that on that day specifically, they will match the $7,500. So we really look forward to our match days every single year during this time. Now's a hard time to jump on board, but let me reach out to me or let me reach out to you and tell you more about it if I know that you're of interest, because I'd love to get your organization involved. I can tell you that hands down seeing it, we get phone calls. Where are the match days? Who are they? I'm saving my check for that day. So it's pretty exciting. So that's a way that we can get involved. Another way is we started this a yearly golf outing, and we're pretty excited about it. So next year I'll be reaching out more for sponsorships for our holes, our major sponsorships, and these are very exciting things and events that happen throughout the year because it helps our all year round programs. It helps the overall budget. So we need things like this to happen in order to add to the budget when forecasting for, the food, the housing, and the Christmas assistance. And I know that Mindy can speak more to, adopt a family and Christmas assistance and Toys for Tots and what that looks like as far as what we need right now if you are listening, and then maybe for next year if you can put it in your back pocket.
So right now we already have 1,348 families signed up for Christmas assistance.
Wow. Say that number again.
1,348 families signed up for Christmas assistance. So that is not kids. That is, again, just families. We are doing awesome on Adopt a Family, so I thank the community. We only have 15 more left out of 351 because we let that extra one in there. But yeah, so, and then everybody can still sign up for Toys for Tots. We just go online to safxcities.org and click on the Christmas programs. That will be.
It is about this year that I see a lot of people on Facebook that are asking how they would get connected to adopting a family. Is that the way to do it, is through your website?
Yep. So donors can also sign up through their website, and then they'll get matched, and we'll send them that right that day, so we'll email it to them.
And can companies adopt a family, or is it just individuals?
Absolutely. We see a lot of that. You see a lot of
Yes.
that when you actually, Mindy is hands-on with that.
Mm-hmm. Yep, a lot of companies, or like just, I know one was the Theta Care Hospice today. So it's just, some of them do it every year, and a lot of the donors do it every year.
And before, and I've seen others, just out in the community when they're talking, like, oh, yeah, you work for Salvation Army. I adopted a family. And they would tell us their story, and it was their neighbors. So maybe it was them and a neighbor that got together and decided to adopt it. Because we have, a certain amount that is recommended to spend depending on how many, because you can choose like how many families with kids and how many kids, et cetera. So people go together, whether it's friends, neighbors, or individuals, organizations.
Yep, some families do it instead of exchanging gifts.
Yeah.
They like to tell the stories about that. So
I know last year, one of the conversations we got to have that just totally kind of had me fascinated was how the Salvation Army has jumped into the future as far as different ways to actually donate monetarily. Can you share about that?
Yeah, absolutely. So at all of our Red Kettles right now, you'll see on the top of it, there's a QR code. So pull out your phone. I know you have one. Don't tell me I didn't have any cash because I'll come after you. No. So you just pull up your phone. You know how QR codes work. You can put your camera on there and just right to the donation page. So pretty easy, intuitive. We also have cashless kettles. They are not at all of our locations, but they are at our events. So that's our new progressive technology that we're working with. And you'll see at certain places we have a counter, like tip tap, if you will. So if you went into Chick-fil-A, for example, and you decided pay after ordering, it would be right there. And you just have to tap your Apple Pay or tap your credit card to it. And so not only, we went from taking your phone and taking a picture, or using your camera for the QR code, right, to eliminate a step, to taking your credit card or your debit card or whatnot to actually kind of swipe it, if you will. That's a step, right? To eliminate that step, to take your phone or your card and literally tap it. So we're trying to make it as easy as possible. Or if you just think of this right now and you're sitting down and you can pull out your phone, you can go to safoxcities.org and it will flash donate here, and you can put down a one-time donation or recurring, and it goes right to the program you would want, or any of the programs that need it most.
Because that was definitely something that who carries cash nowadays? It's something you have to truly think about, and I just think that that's so intuitive and smart to have moved in that direction, especially the tap. Because that's just easy. I don't even got to slow down. I can just walk by, tap, and keep it moving, right?
That's right. That's the goal, right? Get more done, and that's our world, I guess, that we have to adapt to. But, it's really about the messaging. So, again, thank you for having us here because, I was having a conversation last week, and I was actually on air. I was a live interview at Woodward, and somebody heard my interview, and they said, it's so cool that you talked about ways that you can donate online. Have you ever thought about doing like a credit card or a tip tap? I'm like, well, we do. It's been 5 years, like it takes some time to actually, like, one to have it, two, to be aware that it's out there. So yes, it is out there, and we can accommodate to any ways to donate.
That's really cool. And I have a confession. I happen to be that person who stocks my pockets with coins.
Love it.
For the holidays, because I want to be able to give a little bit in a lot of places, and I want to personally look every volunteer in the eye and thank them. So I'm I'm excited now about the tap, because this is the first time I'm hearing about that, just to be transparent. But I like being able to, or handing my money to the kids to put in for me, especially because I love that your program allows children to volunteer with their parents. And I know when I was raising my girls, I was always looking for a way that I could teach them generosity. And we were a staple at Festival Foods on Northland Avenue every year for years. And I have some of our best family memories are ringing that bell.
I love that. And so I love that you just said that for two reasons. One is, hey, you have a stack of coins that you prepare yourself. So that's the idea. If you like that nostalgic way, like, let's continue it. We have not taken the bucket away, right? And so we can target both, those that like to have that cash and have that tradition, but then those that don't and that can go online, you can still do it at the bucket. But the second part is mentioning that I heard you say when you put in the money, you say thank you to the bell ringers. And that's one of the things that I was just promoting the other day on Channel 5. I said, hey, become a bell ringer. It is you will learn a lot, and you're going to feel different when you leave, because you start getting people thanking you for ringing the bells that aren't part of the organization, right? Like, thank you. You're going to start, sometimes you'll have people stop and tell you their story or their family story, or they would come up and say, my family used you, and this is how they used you. One was recently, somebody had told me this was ringing the bell, stopped them and said, you know what? We needed your services back in 1974. We had around this time a fire in our house, and you guys helped us. You helped us with the food. You helped us with our housing monetary for that moment. And, this is a random ringer, right, that's hearing these stories. So it's a real thing that we're here to help in the community.
There's a lot to that. And actually, I appreciate you recognizing that I want to thank the volunteers and to invite people to volunteer, so you are a changed person. It changed me because there were a lot of people who were rude as a volunteer. And it inspired me to go out of my way, not only to give every time I can and thank everyone that I can, but also to show them that I know what it's like to be there when maybe somebody can't give and they don't know how to just walk by in a pleasant way.
Yeah.
They really are like not friendly, and that's unfortunate.
Yeah.
So volunteers are truly priceless.
They are, and we love the community of volunteers, and you're absolutely right. Being a volunteer, you can't explain until you do it, and you just got to go and do it. Register to ring.com. Go out and sign up to Ring the Bells, because when you go out and ring the bells, it's a whole new level. If anyone's ever been on a mission trip, whether that's down the road or out of the country or in a different state, you feel different. Everybody I've talked to, they're changed, and they feel different, and they act different. They are motivated to encourage others just to be kind and generous within your community. It's the same feeling for 1 hour ringing bells. I can promise you that. If not, come back to me.
Which is a really, sorry.
I was just gonna add that a couple of the residents got together and rang bells for the first time, and they loved it, and they were like so excited to say, "Oh, we got so much money, we gave back to the community and like to you guys because you helped us." So it was just, I don't know, it was great to see. And then they were telling the other guys, hey, or the other ladies and guys that live there, hey, this is our experience and you might want to do it, and this is why. So
I love that you just said that, Mindy.
yeah,
because
it was awesome.
that happens a lot. Our clients, they'll go and they'll volunteer and they'll say, yes, I just want to give back. You gave to me, by clients as any of us. Like, I've needed services when I was younger. We all have, whether that's a day or a time or a place, whatever it is. It doesn't have to be right now, but we all need help at certain times. It's okay to say that. It's okay. Don't be intimidated in coming in and getting services, because it's a real thing. And we're here to, again, not discriminate, but to help. So it's really neat when people open up and say, I used to use your services and I want to give back now in these ways. Or sometimes they're still using their services and this is their way of giving back.
So both of you are very passionate, and you also have a lot of Christmases under your belt. We were talking about that before we went live. I would love to hear a more personal story over the tenure of your work and your investing in the organization that you are with. What jumps?
I will start. I have so I could tell you so many. This one's really hard, so I'm going to tell you a couple if you don't mind, but I'll make it kind of short. So first of all, I've been here we go by Christmases, like you had mentioned. This is my 8th Christmas. My very first Christmas, I will say, or year, it was just a week into my job. And there was an individual that had a mental health situation, and something within the family had caught like a death and had caused a mental health depression and anxiety on this person. It came to a point where they didn't have any money or housing, and they truly were alone. And this person was going to take their life, literally. And we were we've been trained on this, but put into a conference room and, thank them for coming to us before doing that, and then giving them the right resources on where to go from the mental health aspect, but then continue to serve them with food and just to let them know it's not just it's about basic needs, but it can go beyond that. For this person specifically, thank you. I'm so glad I didn't do that. And I know that I have people who care about me, because that's all it takes. And they care about my physical need, and they care about me enough about my mental needs to hook me up with the right people, which we can do. We have a lot of great other organizations and nonprofits that can help in that area. So that was a really, my very first week or two, just wow, okay. So as you can imagine, extrapolate to many different kinds of situations, but one is kind of a personal one outside of the other side. Like, pretend you don't even know I worked at the Salvation Army. This actually happened this past month. And I moved recently, so it was more of a moving in, my boyfriend, so don't need all my stuff. So I was more of a estate sale, if you will. And so I had some, like a bed and bed frame and some other things that I had for sale. And you know how it is. If you've ever put anything on Facebook Marketplace, and you put up something out there, you get like catfish,
facts.
Yes,
like you're lucky if somebody actually responds back. Like They'll say, are you interested? Or I'm interested. And then they ghost you.
Exactly. Or can I have this? Can I have this? And you're like, who do I pick? Who did I just say, yes, it's available? Do they really want it? So it's like bingo, trying to like, as the balls are rolling, like who's, what am I picking out? And I randomly picked on this person's name. And after telling up to a place at Pillars, and I currently am, and I have 2 boys, and we could really, really use this. And it was like a completely like, not even a fraction of the cost like that I was putting it out. And so if we wouldn't mind, like we could really use this, and we use the services at the Salvation Army currently too. I'm just getting back on my feet, and I was like, yeah, it's yours. Just come and get it. And she came with her 2 boys, and she didn't even know I worked for the Salvation Army. I actually wasn't even gonna, say just like, hey, here, but I'm so proud of it. She saw I was wearing a shirt. So she then opened up even more about, I go, to the food pantry every month, and then I do the noon meal program. And it was just, her face was so happy and thankful and just excited that she got out of her situation. She's in with Pillars, which, as we know, with the housing situation is hard to do. That happened. We've been able to help with food for her. And then, I grabbed some other things for her boys over there, and their faces just lit up. Are you kidding me? She sent a picture when the bed was set up, when she got it back, and just like, thank you from my heart, right? And this is without even knowing, the resources that I was specifically involved in. So it's just so cool to just be a part of the community that way, and just say, hey, we helped out. And that's the kind of people, that are excited and thankful. And so I love that. And the last story is, within the last year, I had served lunch, and there was a family new to the area. They were really hungry. It was on the weekend. It was this Sunday, and they didn't know that the Salvation Army had weekend meals. They said, we just did a Google search. I'm hungry, I need meals here. So came in, and very, very, very thankful, just started crying and said, because asked more about the services. They said, I'm on E. I can make it tomorrow. We sleep in our car, but I can't go anywhere further than, the parking lot, not hours, but certain ones that would allow, that. And they said, what can we do about this? And I said, well, you come tomorrow morning and we'll help you out. We do one-offs, with a gas card, and get you to where you need, and until, you can get back on your feet, so that you are able to then come, or maybe it is getting housing close to the bus line, so that you can come and get your groceries, and you can come and get your food. But what really stuck out about that was, after that moment, he broke down in tears. And it was the type of tears, I'm sure you've seen it before, of the trembling, right? The trembling tears, your lips are a little trembling, and then your hands are shaking, and you could, like, the heart was on the sleeve and the face, and then you just wanted to cry with them and just give them a hug, and like, it's going to be okay. Like, we all care, and we're all in this together. We come in with nothing and we leave with nothing. And in the meantime, we're going to try to.
So my participants in the housing programs are more long-term. So I feel great when I can see them move in the 2 years that I typically serve them. One of the families that I still Pathway of Hope, which I'll describe a little bit more, which is a national program that the Salvation Army offers to all families, children under 18. This mom started out with 4 children in living in her car. So she started out on Pathway of Hope so that I could hopefully case manage her for a little while and connect her to services, but was able to get one of our housing programs and was able to find a place. But she was sleeping in her car with her twin boys, and the girls would sometimes sleep there, but they would usually find a friend's house because they were teenagers. She ended up getting in a place, getting a job that she's been at for a long time in cleaning, had a boyfriend who had cancer, but ended up in remission. So they are together in a house, have a dual income now. The children are still in the school district that they were in, which is a big thing for all of the children. Need that consistency, because it's really hard for them if they're moving around from school to school and they don't know where they'll be. So I am really proud of them for accomplishing those things. They make the choices to move forward, and we are just there to support them and offer them the resources. And hopefully they become self-sufficient. And that doesn't always happen, but there are those feel-good things, those stories that I can relate to. Those are the best things. And I still have cards from people thanking me. And when I get kind of depressed and look around at the housing market, because affordable housing, don't get me started, but
Mindy, the stories that we've heard from you over the years that I've been there is one that sticks out to me is very similar. And it's really important to know that like anything can happen at any time, right? And one of the stories the first couple of years I was there, when talking to housing services and hearing stories, is it was a family. And to your point, conceptually, just seeing people come full around after our help is humbling. But it was the dad worked, and they had a couple kids. Probably remember the story. And the mom didn't, and they didn't have insurance. And the dad, unfortunately, had passed away. So you can imagine they lived a normal life. They were taking trips. They had a boat, I think. And I don't know if you remember the story, and after that, everything, that's kind of a paycheck to paycheck. Like most Americans, I think the statistic is we can't only afford a $400 or $500 bill, right? But nonetheless, that happened. So they went, and the family and the kids went of this is my life to, oh no, what do I do? And they had to start all over, use our services, didn't have any money, not much. And I can tell you too, from me in my personal situation, my brother had passed away a year ago in his 40s, mid-40s, and 2 kids that are over 18 now though. And same thing happened. They had quit for whatever reason, insurance, and after he had found out it was from brain cancer, after they found out about it, it was until the 401k to pay for the chemo and all the things. After that year, she's depressed, obviously. Her, after 30 years, her high school sweetheart had passed away, watched him die. And what we didn't know was it what just built up. And the lights were out. They went down to foreclosure. And she's like, Chris, they call me Chris, my family, like, what do I do? I know you work for Salvation Army, and can't, you can get your food there, go, and we can help you. Because by there, it's, an hour away. But nonetheless, it's important to know that it happens. And you don't mean it.
I want to go back and just ask something about the housing real quick. And it is, how long can you stay? And is there a cost associated with the housing at all?
So we run several different programs. At the on-site buildings right now, you can stay long-term. We have some openings that are about 3 or 4 openings that are long-term. So they could stay there with a Section 8 voucher or paying. The rent is $550. That includes all utilities, all furniture, things like that. So they could stay there really as long as they want.
When somebody would approach,
Most of the programs, tenant-based rental assistance and rapid rehousing, we use coordinated entry, which is a statewide list that pulls based on barriers. So we pull from that list. We also do have a housing retention program, which is prevention, our prevention program. So it helps them stay in housing, hopefully, and kind of stop that cycle. But that is contact me, and we can get you on the waiting list. That's a different, separate waiting list.
that's incredible. I'm so inspired by everything you've shared so far. And so we'd love to hear and learn about any upcoming initiatives, events, engagement opportunities. The red kettles are obvious, but I'm sure there's so much more.
Yeah. So as you mentioned, listening right now, registertoring.com. Go out and please ring those bells. It takes an hour or a lot more, however many you want to. Having somebody at the Red Kettle brings in 90% more donations. It's a proven statistical fact. You can't argue with those numbers. So please, I start, everyone's like, oh, your Christmas season's done. You must, have a deep breath here. Nope. I start making meetings right away in January because of, organizations' different fiscal year and budgets and whatnot. Get on for a match day for next year's. red kettle season. We need you can literally double your impact, literally. We have our golf outing event that is in September, so please contact me. I am looking for sponsors on all different levels. That is in, again, September at Ridgeway. And then we have a lot of one-off ways that you can donate. We'll be able to connect you with our volunteer coordinator, and we'll let you know anytime we need help in the pantry. We need help stocking the shelves. We need help, putting the groceries together and giving them to our clients. Same thing for our noon meal program. And then, of course, if you want, again, for next year, we can put you on the list to give you a call for Coats for Kids. That happens usually in October. And then for the Christmas assistance, whether that's sorting through the toys and giving them out. So we'll get you on that list because we need a lot of people to make that happen.
Well, before I wasn't going to ask this question because you did such a good job of kind of answering the question. I'm still going to ask it just in case.
We can rebrand them over and over.
And no, just in case. And that question is this: is there anything the community can do to be helpful?
It's great question. And I will say over and over again, please, right now, register to ring.com. It's just proven. If you're there, you are literally giving money, helping get money to give to our budget, in which we talked earlier in this podcast, that budget is forecasted for our needs that is usually gone. Again, our food pantry is gone mid-year. And you'll turn out a different person, a changed person. Get together with the organization. Ask them, hey, what kind of budget do we have? Can we get involved in this golf outing? We have people here that like to golf. We can get a foursome together because those monies do go 100% towards our programs. And so that is exactly what we need. But I also want to say thank you to our community because the volunteers that we have and people who call asking to volunteer are so thankful. If I'm wearing my Salvation Army shirt, I don't know about you, Mindy, but this happened to me last week. I was in Sam's Club, and I had a Salvation Army shirt, and I had two people say, can I talk to you for a minute? One person, I get done at work. I own my own business, and I get done a lot of times during this time of the year around 11, 12. How can I help? So here's my card. Give me a call, right? Because that was my son, and he had a bad day. But, yeah, we talked about it, and it's as easy as that. The other one, needed help, in the same day within 20 minutes. I need room rent, and I'm hungry. How can I help? I'm hungry. How can you help kind of deal? And because I was wearing the shirt. So it's out there. And so as a community.
I always wear my Hope shirt, and I almost always get approached.
Do you?
Yeah. On both ways.
Yeah.
Both ways.
Yeah.
Yep.
Okay, so we'll get shirts made for everybody to wear.
Shirts?
And so that's a Salvation Army, so that when approached, what to say. We'll give you a script, too.
All right.
I love that.
I'm not against having a shirt.
I'll wear it.
Yes. Okay. Well, who can people contact if they'd like to learn more or how they can get involved? And we've talked about some of that throughout this episode, but what I'd like about this in particular is there's a lot of opportunities for people to go online to do these things. Yes,
yeah. So if you want to do a quick search, safoxcities.org, our website is up to date there, and you can go and it has the contact information, and we're really good at getting that information and getting back to you right away. However, I understand I got to go on a website, and is this person going to get back to me, and I want to know right away. And so I like to be able to be available for people. And if it's not myself, I can help direct you in the right area. So please give me a call, Kristal Knudtson. My number is 920-883-9437. And if it's housing and you talk to Mindy, it's most likely going to be Mindy. I'll direct you to, and I'll give you her email. It has something to do with donations, anything donations, that would be myself. And then anything with volunteering, I'll direct you to our volunteer coordinator. So therefore, you don't have 3 or 4 different numbers. You can go ahead and spider that out and where it needs to be. So yeah, so please contact me any way that you can help, in kind or volunteering.
Well, Mindy, we do want to give you an opportunity if you want to share some contact info.
So my work cell phone is already out on the website for all of the adoptive family and Toys for Tots. So it is 920-74.
Is there...
I'm going to does anybody need help in this community? I know they do. Who can I reach out to? Sometimes we're always in the hustle and bustle, especially this time of the year. Just pause and ask yourself, can you help? Whether that's monetary, in kind, or volunteering. And then I'll And then I'll go on to say, if so, reach out to us, and we'll be able to help out. And then thank you, because it really does take everybody, right? I like to refer back to the analogy, the three-legged stool. And a three-legged stool can only stand sitting or upright sitting if you have three legs, right? And those three legs for us are our donors, our volunteers, and our advisory board. So we need it. We need all of them. And I know that's you.
I have just a little bit to add, and I would add landlords and businesses to just be compassionate about those people who are unhoused, and to maybe just talk to them instead of, walking by. So, and landlords, we just need them. We need them to take another shot on a family that may be willing to work now.
I know that it takes a lot of hands to make this organization work and for you to fulfill your mission. So this is an opportunity for you to shout out those who are making a difference in your organization and in this community.
Again, thank you to everybody, our donors, our advisory board, and our volunteers. We truly, truly cannot do that from the bottom of my heart. I don't say those words lightly. We thank you. We cannot do it without everybody together, like that three-legged stool. And also to our team, a lot of days are a lot, and as far as minimal resources, but and a big job, so we all are very thankful for each other. We step up where we can in different areas and help each other out, and it's very rewarding. So, we come together like family, just like anybody would do for us. So thank you. It's just thank you to everybody who has helped and who has volunteered.
And I want to say thank you to our team, too. We do not have that many employees at the Salvation Army, and it runs on our team and our volunteers and really the community support that we have. So just want to say thank you to them.
Well, on behalf of Appleton Engaged, myself and Sarah, we want to say thank you. At this time, Appleton Engaged listeners, we are going to wrap up this episode. So thank you for spending time with us. Thank you for giving us your minds and ears. Thank you for caring about another amazing resource, helping to make our community a better place. I enjoyed this conversation. It is the season. Let's do good things. We do good things here in Appleton. Let's live up to those expectations. Let's go ring some bells. Let's donate some food. Let's take care of our community. All right, Appleton Engaged listeners, you know what I'm going to say. We are trying to become the #1 podcast for Northeast Wisconsin. I can't do it without your help. So what does help look like? As you listen to this episode and you're thinking, you should have asked this question or that question, let us know. You might be listening right now and say, my organization would make a great episode, or I have a guest who would be fantastic on Appleton Engaged. Let us know. And you can let us know by reaching out to us at belonging@appletonwi.gov. Once again, that is belonging@appletonwi.gov. Also, I'm a firm believer that an informed community is a community where you feel like you belong. And the way that you can get more informed, particularly about the amazing resources and people that we have in our community, is by listening to this podcast. So what I need you to do is help me with some analytics. And that looks like this. If you're listening right now and you see a button that says subscribe, press it. If you see an opportunity to write a review, write it. And if you see an opportunity to leave us some stars, that would be 5 of them. And these are all things that increase our analytics. And the better our analytics, the more community members get to learn about our amazing resource here known as the Appleton Engaged podcast.
And I also thoroughly enjoyed this conversation today. And what I heard is there are so many ways to serve, whether it's your hands ringing bells, your hearts to give and be generous, or just your help, because any little bit goes such a long, long way. And we appreciate the Salvation Army Fox Cities for all that they do. So until next time, stay thoughtful, stay curious, and stay engaged.